record. And then I am going to mute everybody for now. So that way you can unmute yourself when you have a question. That way you don't have to worry about if things are screaming, somebody comes up and walks up with you, anything like that. All right. So next in our series of trainings, I'm going to try to offer something different every time we do something. And I'm trying to continue to pop on live and do short little snippets because some of you guys are new, or even some of you guys who have been around a little bit more, you're still experiencing new things with business, whether it's a frustration, whether it's a crazy host, anybody that you deal with. So I think talking about some of the time management, how to get more, how to overcome some of these things are super helpful because Well Pampered Chef is super easy, and you can do the bare minimum and be just fine. Sometimes being intentional and taking some certain steps are going to help you to have more bang for your buck. I do not always have this figured out. I waste a lot of time because I get sucked into Facebook. I do need to use my timers sometimes more, but I've been catching myself more when I'm doing work where I don't need to be scrolling. So I leave that for my downtime with responding to people. And over the coming weeks, I want to make sure everybody knows this, I am doing a pilot with Pampered Chef for Squee. And Squee is a virtual platform that is totally off of Facebook, where it's pretty much like a virtual living room where you chat. The parties are an hour. Generally, they're going to be evenings. So people who work full-time will love this. But so then you're only doing an hour, maybe a little over an hour with extra chatting and stuff and setting up, a little over an hour, and you're pretty much done with the party aside from host coaching and reminders. And those are things that you can copy and paste. So there are things that I'm working through to give solutions to make it easy. I will be offering both of them as we kind of move forward. So I'm going to start working with doing some training and giving you guys the group stuff. So if any of you guys want to jump onto Squee, you can. This lends itself more to the in-home cooking shows, where, I love the cooking shows because, from leaving my house to getting home, I'm generally gone, with drive time, 3 hours. Sometimes a little more if I get chatty with my host. But 3 hours, and then I'm doing some minor host coaching and stuff for, I don't know, probably 15 to 30 minutes, the remainder of the show, and then submitting the show, depending on how many orders can take 10 or 15 minutes. So that's less than 4 hours of time. It's a one chunk. A lot of times people don't have that time in the evenings or on the weekends to carve that out, and that's where the virtual's nice because it does things that are you spread it all out, okay? And you can do multiple things at once, okay? So that's where it's super helpful. But I think our biggest struggle and our biggest thing is I think we get in our own way. We spin our wheels. We're not, and I do this plenty. We have things on our list that are important to do, but we don't want to do them. So we keep pushing them away until we're in panic mode because we have to do them, right? Because it's nature. There's certain parts of the business I don't love doing, but I need to do because they are business building activities. And I think that's where so many times that we need to understand the difference between activities that can enhance business and our business building activities, because they are two different things. And when we are intentional about doing the business building things, we are going to see the results. They always say what you do today is going to affect you 30, 60, 90 days from now, okay? You might see something right away, but generally speaking, you're going to get those residual effects in the paycheck farther on. So the work you do today is going to affect your paycheck next month, next couple of months, that type of stuff. So that's why When I talk about being intentional, be intentional. You guys, and I'm hoping that they offer them again this year, and if they do, some of our upper level directors made this planner for us. It has daily stuff where you have tasks and then the breakdown of the times of the day. And on each side of the week, they have other follow-up things that you can make. You can make other notes. They have a spot for hosts. They have a spot for writing your goals, all of that type of stuff. And even for, mine's a leader one, so it has some extra information, like I think it actually has extra pages for shows, and it also has more with recruiting stuff and leader stuff, so I'm making sure I can take notes and keep it in one place. Find a system that works for you. I am going to share some day planner links where you can actually go and download and print free day planner stuff. So you can have your monthly at a glance where you're going to have all your big stuff. So I always put on my monthly what days my virtual shows are starting. If I have a cooking show, what day those cooking shows are. Any trainings I have, I put that on there. And then I don't put all of my personal stuff on there just because there's a lot, but there's certain things like that I know I would need to work around because it's in my normal work hours. I put that on there. Or something where I know I'm going to have to block off the whole day and it's going to throw my routine off. I put that on there so I make sure I take that into account when I'm planning my week for what I'm going to do for the week, okay? And I don't always plan my daily schedule until a couple days in advance because it all depends on how much I get done and what pops up. So I usually plan daily. I'll plan about 2 days and then I'll kind of, adjust as needed. So that's a big thing with time management. Having a system to write things down, know what tasks need to be accomplished, and following through with them are some of the biggest things. Now, what do we consider business building? Making your host packets are great because they do have to go out for your hosts. But making your host packets in lieu of sending booking messages, those are, one's business enhancing, the other one's business building. Does that make sense? So we want to make sure we're using the right actions and we're spending our time on the first things that are business building. So the biggest things are, all right, I need to get some messages out for bookings. I'm going to do a fun social media post to enhance to get bookings. Maybe I'm going to pick up the darn phone and call somebody and ask them about Pampered Chef because I feel like this is a voice call. Also, host coaching is business building. That should be one of the first things you're doing. That should be one of the most important things you're doing. Knowing how to set up a show on Facebook, we get you going with that pretty quickly because you do have to know how to set all that up. You do have to know how to run a show. You do have to know how to do that type of stuff and the do's and don'ts. So that's why we always start with those basics. But if you want to continue to get bookings and you want to have strong shows, host coaching is key. I was telling Hannah this month, and let me pop back and look at my calendar. This month, I think I originally at one point had 15 shows on my calendar, okay? I need to message one of them actually today. I have had I've had 7 of them postpone, 6 of them postpone and change out of the month. I've had 3 actually finally close, but I had several that postponed from the beginning of the month to the end of the month. I had several hosts last week. I was supposed to have 5 shows start. I had 2. Things popped up and I said, and so then I started troubleshooting. Hey girl, I noticed that you don't have anybody invited into the group yet. What do you need? Do you need a couple extra days? Do we need to shift things? Because here's the thing, guys. I'm not going to force them to start on that day. If they don't have, first off, enough people in the group and they're not buying in and doing the tasks I told them, I'm not going to start the party. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to spin my wheels. And I'm not going to put those posts in there because then what happens if they start adding people way later? we're not going to have as much interaction and we're not going to have as much fun. So I delay and I will shift very happily for a host, because you know what? They're like, oh yeah, this week ended up being a train wreck. I was sick, or my kids were sick, whatever it was. I mean, it happens to all of us. So if we can give that, but we check in. I mean, I look at my groups and I go, this one only has 13. I am for sure going to both. You can have a good show when you have 10, 11, 12, 13 people in the group, but generally speaking, the activity is going to be lower. The amount of people might or might not order. All of these people, if you know the group, they may all order, but you only might have 1 or 2 orders. You might have 5, but they might all be small orders. So we tell them to message 50 to 75 people and have 25 to 30 in the group for a very specific reason, okay? And so when we host coach with intentionality and we troubleshoot with them and we make sure they understand what we want, they're going to succeed, they're going to be happy, and it's going to be easy for them. Now, if you need to get their butts on the phone and you need to talk to them on the initial call and say, here's what I need from you. I want you to send messages. I want you to stay involved. I want you to ask people outside of Facebook. And go over why. A lot of times that pans out better. Some people won't want to get on the phone with you. Some of you guys aren't going to want to get on the phone. I talked with Hannah about doing a video. That way they can kind of buy in. I have somebody who has very few Facebook friends, and she was scheduled for a show, and she's like, no, I can't do it, because she didn't like the number that I had. She's like, I don't think I'm going to have a good show. She started stressing herself out about it. And I said, not a big deal. I don't want you to stress. You don't have to host. You don't have to. So she ended up canceling. Not a big deal. She orders from me here and there, so that's not a big deal. I was hoping to save her some money. But those type of things are intentional. So my biggest things that I write down in my planner is what I'm host coaching. I use a host coaching document, so I copy and paste. I will edit for a host as necessary. If they don't have enough people in, or if I really need them getting messages, I will pop something in between. Pop in, hey, just a reminder to get into the group, all that type of stuff. But those type of things to help boost. Now, when you start Squee, if any of you guys do, Squee is going to be different. You're going to be asking your host to send out all these texts and try to stay off of Facebook if they can, just because then you don't have to worry about any Facebook algorithms, anything like that. But you're going to have to be very clear on how they're going to follow up with messages, because people get sidetracked. But with Squee, you do an RSVP survey where you can personally follow up with some of the people and ask if they need anything, especially if they attended live, stuff like that. So then you have some of that control where you're not having to worry about them not being Facebook friends with you. So there are the bright points with that. But anyways, all right. So business building, host coaching, host packets are great. We need those. I need to get them set up. I generally make all of my host packets for the month up before the beginning of the month. So I'm getting ready to do all my October ones. I am actually going to make enough packets for the amount of bookings that I want. I'm not doing it for how many I have. I get it for what I want. So then when I get the other bookings, all I have to do is customize the packet, write a little note, and pop it in the mail, and I'm done. So those little things are things that we are valuable to do. That's going to save me time. I'm going to do it all at once instead of pulling out all my crap and getting it all set up and doing that. So I actually have, I just pushed the button. I have 2 of my September host packets left. I have the folder sitting with, the envelope sitting with it. I have my letter that I sent to my virtual host, my 2 catalogs, the specials, and a information flyer on the opportunity. So I have all that I send with them. Sorry, my nose is so itchy. Gosh darn. Anyways, but I do that, and that takes me probably, 20 or so minutes, maybe 30, depending on how many I'm getting together, because some months I'm aiming for more than others. And I put them together, and I get them ready to mail out. And probably 30 minutes with printing. But I schedule that, but that is not business building. I have been putting off sending messages for days now because I haven't wanted to sit down long enough to do it. But I need to. And because it's going to get me bookings. I don't have as many as I would like yet for October. And so I need to get and sit down and text or Facebook message some people that are due to host again, or I think would be great hosts, and get with them. For you guys who are new, we ask you to do your launch list. This launch list is 40 people, and of course, we would love for you to add more. And these 40 people are people from other various friend groups, okay? People that you know out and about, on Facebook, all that type of stuff. And the key is for you to contact them and ask them about hosting and about their interest level in Pampered Chef. Some of them may not want to host, but they may like to order. You need to make sure you notate that and invite them when you do shows, or maybe you need to order occasionally to boost the party. Well, hey, why don't you message them and see if they need anything? And I actually have a couple of people that I'm not Facebook friends with that are customers that I need to call and follow up with, because they said they like to do random orders, and it's been a while. So I need to get with them, or they're going to, they might choose another consultant, which is fine. But if I can continue to stay in contact with them and keep up, they're going to stay with me, especially if I'm checking in on them. Okay, so business building, those messages for bookings, those host coaching messages, setting up your parties is essential, and it will build, but you need to make sure you plan it. So time management, biggest things, write things down, guys. Write it down, have yourself a binder, have yourself a system, get yourself organized. We're all very limited on time. So when we can be wise with the time that we have, we're going to be able to be more effective. We all have the same amount of time. Our priorities are going to dictate where we spend our time. So if you're not spending the time on Pampered Chef and you're like, I don't have enough time, well, it's not your priority, and that's okay. I'm not here to tell you what your priorities are, but just understand that if you want to do this and you want to make it work, then it will all work out, okay? Those priorities will happen. Oh, good God. So here's an example. We all ebb and flow with things going on in our life. I had my cancer earlier in the year. So there were certain things that took a back burner in my life because I was dealing with cancer right then. Maybe it's a sick kid. Maybe it's a sick parent. Maybe you're working overtime. Maybe you're going through a divorce. Whatever it is, you have things going on in your life that sometimes the priority has to bump up. And we get it. But if you want to make Pampered Chef work, or anything in your life, whether it's, working out, eating well, reading more, Bible study more, whatever it is, if you want to do it and you want to succeed at it, making it a higher priority on your list is going to help you to schedule it in. It's a matter of shuffling things. When you say yes to something, you're going to say no to something else. We can't do everything great. We can't do 50 things at once. We can't do 10 different direct sales businesses. We can't, do 3 jobs. You have to understand where the priorities lie. If it's 1 show a month with Pampered Chef, that's fine. But if you want to make it work for that 1 show a month, you have to be intentional with the time that you do spend on Pampered Chef. If it's only an hour a week, that's okay. Set your sinking timer, set a day of the week, set a time of the week, and do it, okay? We all have smartphones. Almost every single one of us have a darn smartphone. It has timers, it has notes, it has reminders, it has messages. You can actually schedule messages and reminders. In the new iOS, if you have an iPhone, it will actually, you can set a reminder to say I'm texting you, Catherine, and I can set up a reminder with our friendly assistant, because I don't want to say her name, because next thing you know, she pops up. And I say, set a reminder, or I can type in the reminders, hey, when I'm messaging Catherine, remind me to ask about her show schedule, or maybe about her grandpa, or whatever it is. So you can do that. So then when I'm messaging you, it's going to pop up and go, reminder to ask Catherine, because then I'm not forgetting. So you can, like Hannah, as you're learning to train, and I probably need to work to implement this, when you know you need to follow up with people when they onboard, okay, I need to get with them and check in with this, and this on this time. Keep it in your work schedule. Or when I'm messaging this person, or at this time of the day of the week, I need to message X, X, and X about this. Use those reminders, okay? Because, we have our phones in our hands pretty often, or they're close. So if you hear a reminder ding, it's like, oh, yeah, I got to do that. And so then if you're in the middle of something, you can pause and wait for a minute, because that reminder is going to pop up again, right? So, but that's going to be what helps you to stay focused, helps you to stay intentional, because then you're going, okay, I know I need these. I know I need to do this thing. I need to send out my messages. Oh, okay, it's been a few days. I need to follow up with these people. I haven't heard back yet. Or, Catherine, you were saying, hey, the one lady, she says, hey, let me get back to you. I said, hey, why don't you ask if you can follow up? Because they're going to forget. So now you set your reminder to follow up with her in those few weeks. And she's going to appreciate that, because now she didn't have to think about it. Now, she may not think about it in between now and then, and may go, oh, gosh, I haven't even thought about it. Beware of that. It does happen. Say, oh, that's okay. And you can figure it out where, we're all busy. But those type of tips and tricks and using technology for good and for your organization and staying together, not all of us are naturally organized, y'all. Not all of us are list makers. Not all of us know how to do priorities. There are certain types of people who, when they look at a list of things, they see a list of things. They don't see something that's more important than something else. They all just need to be done. And sometimes they start with the thing that is least important. So understanding what's the most important, those booking messages, booking follow-up, host coaching, those type of things, answering questions in your parties, those are going to business build, okay? Host packet put together, those are helpful, and it's essential at some point, or even sometimes creating a new outline. That's not necessarily time sensitive or business building, because you got to have the bookings to make the outline, right? Same with adding extra VIP groups and pages and all that other stuff. That's extra work where you're spinning your wheels. Be intentional. Understand how Facebook works. Understand, those little things. And do things that are going to build your business. Maybe it's out and about when you're networking. You talk to people and you find a subtle way to say, hey, I sell Pampered Chef. And when we were doing, and I don't ever, actually it was funny, last week at Bible study, we're sitting there, and one of my friends, we were talking about Pampered Chef actually, and my friend looked at me and says, you know what? The thing I love about Sarah is she's going to be my friend whether I buy Pampered Chef or not. And that my friends understand that. I am not connected with you solely because of Pampered Chef. Now, those of you guys who I was brought together with Pampered Chef, that was our first connection, but that's not the only reason why we will stay connected. But when you can be transparent that way, and other people understand that you are connecting with them for more than just your business, it's going to be super helpful. And that's why making sure you do have a presence on social media, by responding to your friends or responding to their posts and interacting and messaging, actually goes a long way. First off, those people do see your posts more. Second off, if you're not just talking about Pampered Chef and pushing your wares, then, and you're encouraging them or saying, way to go, or, answering a question, they're going to be more likely to come to you eventually and say, hey, I know you sell Pampered Chef, and you haven't been annoying, and I need some help. So those type of little things that aren't business essential are super handy and helpful as you have time to fit in, okay? All right, so when we do these steps with being intentional, managing our time, writing things down, setting reminders, setting timers, we are going to get more from our business. You have to know what you want. You have to set some goals, and you have to have a positive attitude. If you get down in the dumps when things go wrong and you get sucked into there, the sky's going to fall. You're going to hate what you're doing, and you're not going to have a good outlook. This business can be a huge blessing and a huge gift, okay? If you spend the time on it, if you follow the tips, you guys, I've moved my business 5 times. I've restarted it several times. I've done it as a single mom. I've done only cooking shows. I've done a lot of different things with Pampered Chef. I have a lot of experience. I work hard with learning what social media is. I'm working on other platforms. But this is my full-time job. I don't spend full-time hours on it, but this is what I do besides momming, okay? There are plenty of people who work full-time who are working Pampered Chef to the level I am and more, okay? They're very intentional with their time. They're super busy, so they have to be very structured. Adding a little bit of structure is going to get you there. You can't say, I'm not getting business if you are not spending time on the right things, okay? So that is messaging people. A Facebook post is more passive than a message, okay? Understand that. You might get a couple of leads from the post, but a message is going to be more effective long-term. All right. Now, question time. Was this helpful? Do I need to elaborate on anything?
I'm still new, so I don't know if you missed anything. Sounded good to me, though.
All right. Well, I mean, you're going to know if I missed anything because you're going to be like, I feel like she didn't fill in here or something. But I think it's important to understand, because a lot of times I think we kind of get sucked into things that aren't as important. Yeah, training and videos are great, and I want you guys to do them, but your first and foremost things are those messages, and they are those host coaching and those things that are going to help you to grow your business faster than the passive message or, just creating a new group or a new outline. That might help, but you need to do the other things first to have that initial business. So
I think that helps just because, like, I have my to-do list thing, and it has 3 top priorities for the day. It has your whole list, but then it has your priorities, and then it has what you want to get done by the certain times, and then it also has what are you grateful for that day. So I use that, but and I use my priorities, but like you were saying, the business building, what is the business building priority? And so sometimes I may make my priority an outline rather than finding a host or host coaching. I put host coaching on my list every single day, and I put for each host. And so sometimes what I do is I'll send them that original host coaching message for the day, mark it off the list, and then I don't continue to engage as much as I probably should, if that makes sense.
No,
and so, yeah, I think I need to just definitely add more into that host coaching. And I did the video, and so I sent that video out, and then you've seen the video, so it has all the wording, and it says, hey, when you're done watching this is what you're going to message me, just so I know that they watched it. And so then this week I didn't have anybody replying right away, and so I had to send in the reminders like, hey, have you watched the video? And one was like, hey, I'm out of town, so we had to reschedule her to next week. The other was she then watched the video and replied. And then the other one, she's like, well, I'm busy this morning. I'll watch it later. She still hasn't watched it. But I'm going to check. I've already checked in today, but I'm going to make sure to check in again, ask her if we need to reschedule or whatever. But I do need to spend more time with my host coaching and being more using the document. And I even have it on my list to edit the host coaching document now that I have edited how I'm doing my party.
Yes, and I made a one-day outline yesterday. I was a woman on a mission. I did that outline, and of course, you guys know I've been doing virtual shows for over 2 years now, okay? And I've been using SyncShare for that long. So understand when I tell you this, I finished that outline in
Yeah.
and because I've done so many, and of course you're going to edit that, and I can share that if you guys want to try the one day. I have not added in like reminder posts or additional games yet, because that might be something I manually do. I might go ahead and schedule it. I'm tossing around. I'm going to ask some of my hosts about whether they want to do the one day and then just do the reminders, where I only have a very small, but I know a lot of people like the extra amount of, so play with it and see. I mean, they're very limited topics, but also, Hannah, and I sent this and I need to share it today in the group. I have a survey using Google Doc Sheets, whatever.
Yeah,
whatever
I've
they're
seen
called.
your survey.
And all you guys all have to do is make a copy, edit here and there where you want on there, and then you click send, and you can copy the link and put it in your shows. You should always have a survey. Not everyone's going to do it, but the more information you can gather from the customers about what they thought of the show, what their needs are, all of that type of stuff, and their contact information, it's helpful to be able to follow up easily, especially if they don't end up ordering. So these type of things are good to have the feedback to understand and know what might be missing, what you need to add, all of that type of stuff. And then once you have your copy saved, all you have to do is edit your own, and you never have to change the link again. So mine's always the same. But those little small things, yeah, okay, again, not business building, but they are going to enhance your business. So those are something that you should do at some point. But it's all about learning top priority, bottom priority, even with Pampered Chef, and understanding those little tidbits. So we want to work smarter, not harder. Okay, we don't want to spin our wheels. And yeah, the responding, the host, like, my host hadn't started adding people to the group yet. I sent him the video, and I'm like, oh, holy, I didn't send them my other messages because I was waiting for them to actually read the video, and then I forgot. And I was like, oh, they'll get dumb. So I did it all, and now they're adding everybody, and we're good. But even like I was like, good Lord, me. I do it. But now I'm keeping up. Hey, do we need to? No, we're good. All right, we'll get on sending the messages and get it done, because it's essential to have people in the group, right?
Yeah, and I did that last week where there was actually one right away. She had everybody in there. And then my two other, I mean, they were just not. And usually I'm like, okay, start the party. But I literally waited until there was at least 20 people in the group. And it made a significant difference. I've gotten bookings and everything from that. And I probably, if I would have just started, she probably would have not continued adding. And then I would have been not just setting my party up for failure, I would have been setting my host up for failure.
Exactly.
And so I realized that.
And I mean, I know it's a bummer you're not starting right when you planned, or I'm gonna have to shift this in SyncShare if you're using SyncShare. It is well worth it.
It's really easy to shift it.
It is easy. If somebody does not know how to do it, let me know. One of us will do a video for you on how to do it. But this stuff, these little things are essential just to understand, because it's not hard to do. It's just being intentional about the steps you're taking. And actually spending the time on it. If you spend the time on it, I have never seen anybody totally flop and go, nope, I don't have anything. Sometimes they have to work a little harder to get the results they want, but I've never seen anybody fail from putting in time. So that is something that's encouraging. Hi, Wyatt. So, all right, so any other questions, comments, concerns, anything like that?
I just got to catch up now from my little break yesterday.
I know, but you know what? You need it. You got to build it in. You have to build in your own personal time, because you will burn out if all you're thinking about is Pampered Chef. Or,
and I did those freezer meals, and in the middle of doing them, I'm like, hey, I could totally do a freezer meal party because I've been doing freezer meals for years.
Well, say you love your freezer meals.
I love freezer meals.
I'm gonna try to find those documents and share them in the group because I know there are some floating around. Pampered Chef just got rid of their freezer meal workshop documents on the website.
Oh, they did, of course.
But I remember seeing the notification when they were dropping things. That was one of the things. But somebody will have them. They are uploaded in one of my groups. I guarantee it.
I'm going to the virtual party page. I'm sure I'll find some good stuff in there too.
Yeah, I go to, and of course, when you actually promote, you'll get to have access. I go to the director success page because a lot of times, then I'm getting the super upper level people sharing their stuff and their ideas, and then we get to, then I can filter down and go, ooh, this was great. So I'll go from there. And I got some other videos I might be sharing with you guys on time management. Mary shared in her group yesterday a video with the Power Tools cooking show where you're only using Power Tools. Because a lot of people don't always like to just use those high-priced tools. But if you can show exactly why somebody would need them to save time, effort, and money in their own homes, people are going to buy them full price. And people are gonna book more shows because they want them at a discount. So it's just being intentional with all of that. So, all right, folks, I only have 2.5 minutes left. So I am going to go and download this and get it all in posted for anybody who missed it. And I will do, make sure you check out the little booking challenge thing. I'm going to see if Brittany will post her little thing again of the things that she had shared in that. And then when you guys get bookings from now until next week, make sure you post them in there so you're in for the drawing. And then sharing ideas is going to get you some points as well. I thought this would be a fun thing. And also remember, we have our thing for all of September. Every comment I'm doing, you get a point, and the person who comments the most is going to get a prize from me. And I haven't decided what it is yet. So, to be continued. So, all right, girls, have a super day. I will talk with you guys later.
All right, see you.